name is Stephanie.
Allison.
And we are sisters who are sharing our cross-stitching journey. This is only our second video,
So welcome back.
Yes, welcome back. And
to everybody who saw our one and only video, and
to anyone new, this is a channel about cross-stitch. So if you don't like to cross-stitch, I don't know what you're doing here. We are going to do a regular Flosstube video, so we're going to do new starts and whips and everything, but I do want to start with thanking 3 channels that mentioned us since our first video. So
it's so exciting.
It was really nice to see. It's like you want to be a part of this community and you put out a video and you're like hoping to be, and then it's like nice to actually be like accepted into the community, because for a minute you're like, well, it seems like they accept everyone, but are they going to accept me too?
I don't know. Yeah, that's our personal insecurity.
Yeah,
so.
But it was very sweet and nice. And so first I want to thank the Floss Boss and Cousins. We had talked about how much we love their channel, and they mentioned that, and they also talked about her how much they love the Pioneer Woman.
Yeah.
And that we love the Pioneer Woman, so that was really sweet.
That was actually really amazing for me, because I didn't know that the Floss Boss and Cousins had mentioned us. I was just so excited to watch their next video, and then, oh my God, you said our name and you actually watched our video, and I was just like, it was magical, and I want to say thank you for making my entire week. It was wonderful.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then the Gammy Stitcher also mentioned us as a new Flosstube to check out. Thank you. And I hadn't watched her videos. It was really fun to see all the things she's working on.
Yeah.
So I subscribed. And then Stitch Lit by Claire. She is also newer. This was her 5th video. But she's clearly been cross-stitching for a while because her projects are beautiful. And she said that we were authentically ourselves, and that felt really nice because
that's what we feel.
1, it's true.
Yeah.
But 2, it's nice when other people see that, because so it's hard not to put on a little bit of a facade when you put yourself out online. So that was really sweet, and I loved her videos. So I subscribed to both Claire and Gammy Stitchers, and I'll link them in the show notes, or I guess in YouTube it's the description. Anything we mention here that has like a website or a channel or an Etsy store or anything will be listed there. So
definitely go check them out, because they were both like, I'm always in awe of people who can sit in front of the camera and do this, because no, this is hard. Like, this is a hard thing. So like, thank you so much for including us in your journey.
Yes. So thank you. And all right, so we're gonna get into the rest of, or the normal order of things. So first of all, Allison, did you have any fully finished objects this week?
Oh my gosh, I did. And I have it right here, actually, in case you wanted to see it. I had started this, just barely started, it's pretty far away, just barely started the border last time that I had shown it. And then now here is the fully finished piece.
And it is an actual fully finished object, or FFO. When I came in today, it was hanging on the wall.
Which I absolutely love, because I've never finished something by myself before. I've always just taken it to the framers. And I basted the top of it and the sides, and to make it look all nice, and then I put in the hanger. So, which I got just at one of our big box craft stores. But not in the stitching section. You have to go to like macrame and leather art. So just that was the result of wandering around the store for about an hour.
I didn't realize macrame was in a different section of the store, because in the cross-stitch aisle they have knitting, but they also have some macrame kits.
This was more like do-it-yourself macrame,
oh,
like
that's
hardcore.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, if
I want to try every fiber. I don't think I want to get into every fiber, but I would like to do like over a decade.
I would make you a multi-crafter.
A little bit of each fiber.
I'm a multi-crafter. And
I did buy some fabric to make my first not adult size, but I bought enough fabric to make a small quilt as a gift for somebody that I'm not going to talk about on here, because she's not a cross stitcher, but she might check out the channel just to be supportive.
Yeah.
So I am going to do a little bit of sewing, but I think this is so cool, Allison. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
And when you don't stitch a million things, it's amazing.
I know. I cannot believe I stitched this in like a week and a half. It was just, It was crazy. I've never done. Oh, you saw the back of it. It's awful, but
And the back is not awful.
well, I didn't. I'm calling it a finish. It's an FFO because I'm not gonna put anything on the back of it. It goes on the wall. That seems overkill. I'm not doing it. So
I love it.
Yeah.
And then you had another FFO.
Oh, okay. So I didn't know about needle minders until Stephanie started collecting all of this cross stitch stuff, and I love them. I absolutely love them now. They're so handy and so beautiful, and so you can match them uniquely to your project, which just makes my heart sing.
It's so fun.
Like, it's so much fun. So I decided I wanted to make some for myself. So these are the ones I made over the last couple of weeks.
And she gave me a couple so that she's made more. These are not yours, right?
No, I made those.
Oh, sorry, guys. I thought these were.
I made all.
I thought those were. So I took 2 butterflies home as well.
But my favorites are probably the gingerbread men.
Did you make the Santa that's on your Christmas one
did.
too? I think it's on. Yeah. So she made a Santa one for her Christmas project that she'll show the project later.
I haven't found any other. Oh, I'll talk about that later. But I'm on the lookout. I'm determined to match needle minders to projects.
It's so cute. I love this button.
Fun.
I love this button. When she told me she has more buttons and when she gets more magnets, I can take some. But I think they're so cool and fun and much less expensive than what I did, which was just buy the needle minders I wanted. But I love them. They're so cute.
Aren't they adorable?
All right. So that's it for FFOs because I don't have any. Did you have any other finishes?
I had no more finishes.
Okay. I do have a finish. So last time, I'm not going to tell the whole story, but last time I talked about Charlie. Oh, I guess we can put him on the board. Charlie, which is was from a Pioneer Woman kit, which is how we ended up talking about Pasca and the Pioneer Woman. And I bought the kit for $5 at the Salvation Army. I bought it because it had a lot of back stitching and French knots, not top knots, French knots. I did not love stitching it. There was a lot of reasons. It's my sad start for Pick-a-Whip. And if you want to hear the whole story, in our first Flosstube, I talked about like for 15 minutes why it was kind of bumming me out. But it's done. It's my husband's favorite piece that I've finished, which is
That's so funny.
says a lot about him and a lot about me.
I love it though. To each their own.
Yeah. But it's done. It should have had, well, the kit has a bunch of writing that goes around here and a finishing hoop. I'm not going to use the writing and I'm not going to finish it in the hoop. So I'm just going to stick it in a drawer. And then when we get a house, because we're currently in an apartment and we're trying to hopefully get a house next year, and I'm putting together like an actual gallery wall. If I need a little piece, then I'll do something with it. And then I'll put in some flower motifs. I saved these 3 colors, the teal, orange, or the teal, the coral, and the yellow. I saved those colors so that I can put in some flower designs, but I don't want to do that till I know how big I need the finished piece to be, and if I actually am going to finish them. Because right now,
You don't like it. Just say that.
It's not that it's not a cute dog. It's that
it's a very cute dog.
It's a dog that passed away. It makes me very sad.
It's sad to look at.
And she has cuter kits. And then I got it to practice the stitching. I do not like back stitching. It's another thing I learned. But it's fine. But I really hated finishing the cross stitching and having to back stitch. But I couldn't back stitch this one. I guess I could have back stitched it as I went, but not. There were parts I couldn't have because I color completed and I did all the white last. So I couldn't have backstitched until I did all the white.
You would need to completely finish whatever section before you backstitch.
So there was I could have backstitched some of the ears, but I hated finishing this cross stitches and then having to go in the back and do the backstitch. And then I hated the French knots. I did the 2 in the eyes. This one looks insane. And then there were supposed to be like 10 more French knots down here, and I just skipped them because I really hated it. What I learned about French knots is that if I buy a piece that I really am going to love that has French knots and I'm going to do the French knots, then I need to practice not on the piece because I was like almost messed this whole piece up. And I was like, no, I did not stitch all these stitches to mess up my piece at like the end.
You clearly never had a piece go horribly wrong
No,
before.
no, because I'm new and I've only done a few.
Well, okay. It's a roller coaster.
So he's finished, and I'm happy he's finished because I have other things I want to work on.
Yeah. That's probably okay.
All right, so new starts.
I had 2 new starts, and do you want to share?
Let's do the.
Well, first I want to share my bag for it because it's a Halloween bag. Okay. So I do not have project bags. I was a monogamous stitcher until 2 weeks ago, and now I'm not. I'm reformed. Hi, my name is Allison. But so I like the idea that each project has its own project bag, and like you keep buying them, and I keep being like, oh, I want that. But I am a very frugal person, and
no, I shouldn't be buying. It's insane. I love
there
them.
should be a balance.
Yeah,
between you and me, there should be a balance of like, yes, you can buy things you like, Allison, and maybe not so many things you like, Stephanie, but there should be a balance.
Yeah.
But so this is my version of having my own project bag. So this is the Raven miniaturized from the first the Raven piece I just showed. And what I'm gonna do, so this is my Halloween bag, and every time I put a project in here, I'm going to stitch either something that really reminds me of the piece or something directly from the piece onto the canvas. And then as I go, I will collect all of these cool motifs. And
I think that's super cool.
I think it's cool too, like toot my own horn. Like,
do you want to show your other one that you made?
Okay, yeah. And this is the second one I made for the other start that I will show you here in a second.
Isn't that pretty?
This is the Christmas bag, and that is the Christmas tree.
It's really pretty. I think it's a great idea.
So, and these were at just the box store for $2.
Yeah.
These are $2. And in a minute, I'll tell you what I did to get it on there. Because I've never done stitching that, like transfer stitching, or I don't know what it's called.
Well, you did it on waste canvas.
Waste canvas, yeah. I did it on waste canvas, and I never done that before, and that was a lot of fun.
And she came up with the idea and told me about it, and I had already seen Kelsey from stitchandchill is also
oh, that's not who I learned it from.
Doing one, and hers, she hasn't. I don't think she's shown the finished one yet, but there's like she did one that was like plants in the middle. And I think it was for a project bag. It was definitely on canvas, but I think the canvas is a project bag canvas. But it looked really cool.
That's
so
awesome.
And my mom bought a dress that she wants me to stitch something on for my daughter, and so at some point I will be.
That's cool. I'm gonna have to get that video.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So the start is.
You go ahead. You told me about it, so.
Okay. So Witch's Garden Crafts is having a stitch along for October called the Witch's Cabinet. The frame came out September 1st, and the next piece comes out October 1st. And you can see Allison is much further along on her frame than I am. And then also you're doing yours on a gray Aida.
This is silver 14 count Aida.
And I'm doing mine on a 28 count Lugana that was dyed specifically for the stitch along. It is Lavender Twilight, and I got it in the Witch's Garden Craft Etsy shop. And there were 2 colorways that she dyed specifically for the stitch along. This purpley one and a green one. And I'm not a green or purple Halloween person. I'm an orange and black Halloween person. So I was like already going on a limb with getting the purple. So I switched the called for browns to black. And I waited to start doing that until I kind of wanted to do it. Well, I knew I wanted to do it. But I waited to actually make the change until I saw someone in the Facebook group post their finished frame in black, and I was like, okay, no, it does look good.
It does look good
because
black,
it's not just so. This is 2 browns, and then
well, right now it's 1 brown, but it's gonna be 2 browns.
And the black conversion is a black and like a charcoal gray. And someone put the DMC conversion in the group. So if you're in the group and you're doing the stitch along, and you think you might want to do the black dark gray conversion, it's in the Facebook group. But I haven't done. I've only stitched some of the black. I haven't switched.
I think they both look good.
I like them both, and I like how they're going to look very different, even though it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So this stitch along is going to be fun, but this is my first stitch along, and it's your first stitch along.
It's my first stitch along. Yeah.
And it's definitely our first mystery stitch along, and it's going to have 31 pieces that come out every day of October. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep up.
But
I'm gonna try really hard to keep up. I don't know if I'm gonna like.
I think you'll do more than you think.
Yeah, and
look how small these boxes are.
It might be catch up like
different.
one day, you know, like I've stitched every day of September, so it's not that I won't be stitching, but I don't know like
how much time.
Yeah.
Okay.
But well, there are pieces I can stitch with my son in the room. There are pieces I can stitch at night, and then there are pieces I can only stitch in the daylight with when both kids are at grandma's house. Like, so there's just, I don't know what kind of stitching it's going to be, but I'm going to really try to keep up. But I like the lavender. This is my first.
I really do. Yeah.
This is the first hand dyed anything I've used. This is the first, I mean, it's like, this is, I know this is going to sound silly, but going purple fabric is going way out on a limb for me. And I really like it. It's been really fun. But I think starting with something seasonal that I know is going to be out, be fun, and then be put away was a good place for me to start.
Okay, I get it.
With the worlds of purple.
Yeah, I like it.
I really like it.
Great.
And I like that ours are different.
I do like that ours are different.
All right. So what was your other new start?
Okay, there was that one. And then I had one more.
Oh, look, sorry. Yeah. You showed your project bag. Mine is in a project bag that is from Thread Lady 99 on Etsy, and I'll link it. And I like it. It's full now, but the fabric is like a blue teacups, like blue porcelain teacups, and my mom has our mom has
China.
1 million pieces of china in this colorway, which I love and makes me think of her. But then also, I was just in Portugal in April, and they have a bunch of architecture that is these blue azuelo tiles. I'm mispronouncing it, but so I know I'm going to end up stitching
I want to
something based on one of those pictures, and so that's why I got the bag. Was inspired by Portugal, but that's what the bag is holding right now.
But they're beautiful.
All right, what is your other new start?
So this is my other new start. It's just called Merry Christmas.
It's so great.
It's just called Merry Christmas. I got it from TinselCrossStitch on Etsy. It's on 14 count ivory, Ada, and I'm using a DMC thread. The pattern called for blue, but I wanted it to be more Christmassy, so I'm just using 321 DMC red. So
it's really pretty.
Thank you. Now do you want to open it and show them? That's how much I did in like 8 days.
But it's gonna be a biggie.
It's about 20, probably. My app crashed and I don't even have the strength to talk about it. So I have no idea how many stitches I've done, but I think it was at 20% somewhere around here. So maybe 24.
It's so pretty. This is going to be done and framed by Christmas.
Oh, that is my goal. I want this one done by Christmas. Even if it's like Christmas Day, she's stitching away in the corner by herself like loser.
It's so pretty.
But I want it done. So.
And look how good her backs are. My backs are not this good. My backs are a nightmare.
I didn't have to, but I don't do loop starts. I just don't think they're necessary. But I only did full coverage before, so it wasn't imperative that my back was very straight. So now I'm doing loop starts on every single one that is not surrounded by, where I can hide it. And I hate it because y'all who do loop starts, you have to grip the life out of that needle so that you don't lose it from the thread every time you're in and out. This has been very annoying. On the one hand, yes, it's got a neater back and it's easier to start, but then the rest of the thread is so annoying it's not worth it to me. But I think it looks really good, so I'm going to continue to do it.
I don't know if this is when I'm more advanced, if this will still be a problem, but right now my threads get so tangled. And a lot of times it's nice to pull the needle off and pick out the knot and undo it. And so I take the needle off on purpose a lot. So it is annoying when it falls off, but I also am doing it on purpose a lot. But you're probably not getting tangled very much.
Well, I'm not getting tangles. And when I do need to do that, I just clip the needle off right below the eye of the needle. And then you have the same. Yeah. You have two threads.
So it's
I only do it if it's necessary. If it's not necessary, leave it on so that it can dangle when I get up, suddenly and stuff like that. So
I do lose a
We're
lot of
just
needles.
nice.
I mean, I find them. I don't have any permanently lost needles. I have every needle I've ever bought, but they've been missing.
I have missed.
No,
I
that's
have
not true.
misplaced needles.
There is a needle at Mom and Dad's house that I have not found. I believe. Maybe I did find it, but
we'll go over there with all of these needle minders and just like until we find it.
And I didn't mention this. I'm just going to say it now because it makes sense. We're not going to hold up pictures of patterns in this video because what we found was we could not control how much glare we were getting and on the iPad, and I'm not proficient enough with my iPad to do it. Like, I like the way that other people do that, but I'm not good at it. So I'm just going to put the pictures up, and I'm going to try to learn how to put the picture up of the finished patterns just in a corner, but as of right now, I don't know how to do that. So I don't know.
It's our second video.
I don't know what's going to be, I don't know what your experience will be, but whether it's full screen or just in the corner, but we are going to put the pictures up that way.
I appreciate your learning that. That's really, that helps me out a lot, honestly.
All right. So I had a couple I had one, besides the Witch's cabinet, which we were talking about, I had 1, 2, 3 new starts. Okay. So last time I talked about how much I loved Coffee and Eggs by the Artsy Housewife and how much I love her patterns in general. I bought a lot of them and kitted up a lot of them. And I'm excited to stitch them all slowly over time, but I did go ahead and kit them all up because I was like, I want to be able to stitch on any of these at any point. So this is Coffee and Eggs though. I have it's not a small start, but the pattern is about 10,000 stitches, so this is not a lot of the pattern, and we'll put the pattern up for you to see.
I think that's a decent start.
Yeah, it's a good start.
Yeah, it's not a whip.
So basically, as soon as I got it in the mail, it's on 28 count baked clay by Fox and Rabbit. The called for is 32. I think the called for might be 36. But whatever the called for was not in stock, and this is my first time stitching on linen, so I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do 28 count. I'm having a hard time seeing it. My apartment's very dark. Even with my reading light, in the daytime, I'm having a hard time seeing the stitches in the shadow of the needle and the thread. So I did go ahead and order those magnification glasses that the Seattle stitcher Megan showed, and Emma Kay from the Carolina Stitchers. They both had and they were doing like a gifted sponsored thing, but I was like, well, let me see how much these are, and they were not expensive on Amazon. So, but they're not here yet, and I'm hoping that really helps because I'm making a lot of stupid mistakes that are not counting errors, but I think the frustration of not being able to see that well, even on 28 count, because of just how dark and how bad my eyes are.
This is a dark fabric too.
So I'm
darker than what you've been doing.
Because I love stitching on it so much, but the conditions really have to be perfect for me to be able to. And it'd be nice if I could do this more often. I would have, my goal was to get the eggs done by the end of the month and her head done by the end of the month, which I should be able to do. But if I get the glasses, I can probably do a lot more. But I love stitching on linen. I'm loving it, and I'm loving this pattern. It's so weird, and I love it so much. But I am making a million stupid mistakes, that are not related to counting. There are some counting errors in there that I'm hoping that are not going to end up being a huge deal. We'll see. But I'm going to keep working on this piece until it is done, even if I mess it up really bad, because I love the finished one so much. I want this in my kitchen. But right now I am loving the process of stitching it too. So that was the new start that I was the most excited about. And then there was another new start that I did. So it's Sampler September, and I got a long dog sampler that I want to start, but I keep changing my mind on what I want to stitch it in. So originally I wanted to stitch it in DMC 311. I think I want to stitch it in silk, like a variegated silk. And so I'm not ready to commit 100% to what I'm going to stitch in it, and I'm not going to start something I'm going to stitch on for 3 or 4 years until I really like the thing. So when Modern Folk Embroidery came out with this tiny little sampler called Starling, I was like, oh, that's so cute and perfect, because I can do a tiny little sampler and participate and have fun without committing to anything. And on this, the green is kind of getting washed out, but you could just pick your own colors for this. So I just picked a pink and a green that I liked, and I'm just stitching it on the leftovers for the 28 count baked clay from Coffee and Eggs. So this is Fox and Rabbit fabric, and I was loving stitching on it. There is a there's a full stitch counting error in this bird that I hope does not have to be undone. We'll find out. But I only stitched on this for 2 stitching sessions. It's going really fast, and I really like it. I think I am. So Jacob showed his finished model stitch of it, and he ended up not liking one of the colors. He felt like one of the colors he picked didn't show up enough on the fabric, and so he did made it full coverage and stitched everything else in like a cream or a white or maybe an ecru. I'm not going to do that, but I do think there are some details in these birds of some stitches that are not stitched, and I think I'm going to fill them in gold diamante, like, because I have some. Ooh. And I think it would be cool, and it's only like 10 stitches in each bird, but having the eye and the wing have a tiny bit of gold in this tiny little sampler would be good. And then in the alphabet that's down here, I'm going to change the color of the first initial of every member of my family so that my husband lets me put it in our kitchen.
That is so sweet.
So it'll be a very tiny sampler. I really want it done by the end of sampler September, since it's like the smallest sampler in the world. One of my major goals is to finish this by the end of September, but I do need those magnifiers in order to speed up the process. So, and they get here on Tuesday. All right, so that is that new start. Oh, and then, I keep meaning, because I got them a lot, I haven't been showing the project bags that go with them, but I'll pull them out. So, Coffee and Eggs is kept in this really sweet Fox.
I love that
bag from Carrie Sews For You on Etsy. And I don't know if she does this for everyone, so I don't know if I'm blowing up her spot by mentioning this, but I did not order the Notions bag, but I bought enough bags from her all at once that she put some of the Notions bags in with them. Look at that sweet little sunflower, which was like so sweet because her bags are very affordable to begin with. And then if you are a repeat customer, she sends you a coupon code, and then to put a little bit extra, it's like, I felt very taken care of.
Like,
very sweet.
Well made.
They're so well made. The fabric inside is basic, so she is saving money there. I mean, not like
it's cute,
but
though.
it's cute fabric.
Yeah.
But the fabric on the outside and the rickrack and the extra like attention, and she doesn't sew them until you order them, so they do take a little while. So I may have some coming in the future that I paid for in the past. Okay. But I love them, and also like they fit, like this has an 11-inch Q-snap in it and the full, so yeah, so it has a huge Q-snap in it, and the threads in it, it's not even close to being full. So there's that bag, and then Darling Starling is housed in this bag that's by Kathy's Posies. And look, it's got a little bird. I didn't buy it for that, but like to put with that project, but it has a little bird on it, and it's also really well made. And look at the little rickrack. And
well, I know, and this just Dorothy Wizard of Oz, like nostalgia, beautiful.
If I had a little blue button homemade needle minder,
I think you need one.
But I will say KBH Stitches, who she's on her 6th video. I love her videos. Watching her videos is very enabling because she has a lot of whips, and each whip is housed in like a beautiful and perfect project bag, and she mentions all the shops. And so this is a bag I bought from Kathy's Posies because she showed some bags from Kathy's Posies. Yeah. And I have another one that I'll show in haul that doesn't have anything in it yet.
That's so pretty.
All right, so my last new start is
I love your needle minder.
It's a little.
I haven't seen that one.
It's a little gnome needle minder because the bag that this one is another Carrie Sews For You from Etsy, but it's green gnomes.
Oh, it's so freaking adorable.
So this doesn't look like anything yet because
it actually looks like Oklahoma.
Well, it's Iceland.
Oh, okay. Well, it's roughly the shape of Oklahoma right now. So if
you didn't see our first video, we haven't talked about it yet, but a lot of the reason I got into cross stitch is that I'm a travel writer and I have a whole lot of like travel photography, and I am turning some of them into patterns. And so I will show what the original photo of this looked like now, and then the mock-up of the pattern roughly now. And so I'm just filling in the blue sky, and you can see where the rock formations are going to come in, and then the waves will be down here. So I'm just trying to get the sky out of the way. I stitch this from like 11 till midnight every night because I can just fly through blue stitches. And it is 3 different shades of blue. I don't know when I see it if that will have been worth it, but it's not a lot of the different shades are in big patches, so it's not like you have to worry about which one goes where or change your blues very much. It's just like the top is darker than the middle.
You can tell. I mean, I can tell, but I'm up close.
Yeah.
You can't tell as well.
I bet you can see 2 blues, but it's actually 3 blues. And I don't know if...
I see 3 blues.
Okay. So we'll see when it's done if I care.
There.
So this beach is a beach on the south coast of Iceland. That's one of my favorite places that I've ever been. And if you stand on that beach and you look south, so if you look a little bit to the left, you see these beautiful rock formations. If you look south, there is no land between you and Antarctica, which is a really weird feeling.
That would be weird.
So I love the beach, and when I went there, a dog came. Me and my friend went to a grocery store and bought a picnic because food in Iceland's expensive. So picnics are like very expensive, but cheaper than restaurants. So we went to a grocery store, got a picnic, had it on the beach, and this dog like came. And if I find the other pictures, I'll throw some other pictures up of like this dog at our picnic. But the beach is beautiful, and then the feeling there is so strange because you're just like standing on the precipice of like a vastness. And then also I saw this beautiful quote about the feeling of being there in the museum in Reykjavik, like, which is like maybe 2 hours away from the beach, that I might decide to backstitch into the sky. So my goal by the next video is to have the actual pattern done. And if I get to that point, then I'll talk to you guys about the quote and plans for maybe doing that and ask advice on, because so many way more experienced stitchers than me like commented on our last video with tips for any problems we were having. And so
so cool.
So sweet. So
awesome.
When we get to the point where I might be thinking about backstitching in letters seriously, I'll talk to you guys about what that might look like and ask for any tips.
Well, I think this is the perfect size for full coverage.
Yeah.
Like if I had thought of that, I probably would have done a lot more, because I was like, full coverage must be giant and like prove that you spent a year on it or whatever. But why? When you can have gorgeous pictures.
There are like 4,000 to 5,000 stitches, which yes, it's full coverage, but like Coffee and Eggs is 10,000 stitches.
I know.
So it's not like the full coverage.
I love doing full coverage.
It is fun, and the backs can be so crazy on full coverage. They're so much fun.
I cross country the heck out of my full.
Also, like this size Q-snap obviously doesn't exist in nature. It's a 6-inch Q-snap with the extenders on it, but it's the perfect size for doing like a little postcard size full coverage. I have a feeling that I will always be working on something in this exact size of a Q-snap.
I think that's wonderful.
I love it.
And it's such a great, I'm sorry, if you were doing a gallery wall, like having like those interspersed with some big pieces would be so cool.
Well, one of the comments, and I can't remember her name, so I apologize, I should have written it down. They had an idea of I should, when I've done a bunch of these, take the original photos and try to find a gallery or somewhere.
Oh, I read that. Yeah, that was a great idea.
Display them and
like real art.
Yeah, like, and I don't know if I'll be able to do that, but it's a good goal to have. And so it's because I do think it'd be fun. And I love it. Because what taking a photograph and turning it into a full coverage piece does is it makes it a little more ethereal. It puts like a step between you and the photo in terms of like, this is reality, but this is like a dream of reality. It's a little bit impressionistic in terms of like, you're looking at up close, it makes no sense, but then you back 2 feet away and it comes into focus. Yeah. It's a totally different experience, even if you're working off the exact same image. Plus like the color reduction and the pixelation and everything. So
yeah, but no, I think that's a perfect size.
All right, so those are my new starts. Let's see. Next time I'll probably have more. All right, whips.
I didn't work on any whips this week. I just did my starts. So.
Well, you finished.
I did 2 starts and a finish.
Yeah.
But my goal for the last video is to just like work on the full coverage one. And I didn't even pick it up. It's still sitting over there in the corner.
I think that's okay.
I know.
Stitch all the things.
All the things.
The
yeah.
Flosstube cousin said, Allison, stitch all the things.
I know, and I forget. So I need to have like that on the ringtone or something.
Well, in your plans, you can talk about the piece that you bought, which will help you relieve your guilt for stitching all the things.
Yeah, no. We'll get there, but yes, I am doing very well on this reformed monogamy stitcher thing.
So I have a couple whips. So we talked last time at length about these shark stamped cross stitch kits that I bought to work on with my son because he wanted to stitch a shark. So I'm not going to reprise all of that. I just want to say thank you to everyone who suggested I stitch in the well on it instead of stitching it in the hoop the normal way because like it was too small to pull. Okay, so basically, here I actually can pull out the hoop. So I ended up just stitching it in hand because it's such a tight Ida, but the next one I'll do it in the well. So okay, so normally you would put your back on here and the front on the front, and then it would sit kind of at the top of the drum. If you reverse that, then you're stitching in the well of the hoop.
Oh, okay.
But then you can easily access the back if it's like hard to get to. It also keeps your pieces. There's other benefits to it, like it keeps your pieces cleaner. Some people only stitch in the well.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
He works for he does videos for Caterpillar Cross Stitch now, but Son of a Stitch. I watched a lot of his videos when I was starting because he has a lot of tutorials, and he mentioned. I don't remember what the video was. If I can find it, I'll link it to you. But one of his tips was to always stitch in the well.
Really?
Let's try that. So I'll link that video, and so I didn't end up doing that because I just ended up stitching it in hand. But next time I put it on the hoop, I'll do it like that. This is the only whip I have that is also kicked by a 3-year-old on a regular basis. So stitching it in the well will keep it protected in a lot of ways. So there's that. I didn't do that many. I only did about 100 more stitches on it, but this is a slow process one that I only pull out when he wants to stitch it. And so it's just gonna be slow, but eventually it'll be a finish.
It's about the experience.
Yes.
It's a bonding thing, right?
And right now it is kept in this cute little bird bag.
That is super cute.
And I want to say, I can't look up who it's, I think this is from,
is it on the tab?
No, I think this is by Ragtag Quilt Art. I'm pretty sure. I will double check that, but I'm pretty sure it's by Ragtag Quilt Art because I bought a couple more bags from her. And I was more careful to look at the size because I didn't realize at the time I didn't realize project bags came in such a wide variety of sizes. But it's actually quite nice to have a little bag that because
the size of all mine.
This is a commitment. If you're walking out the house with this, it's a commitment, but this is like
this fits in my purse.
Yeah, I can just throw in my purse and people just think it's like a makeup bag or an iPad case or something. Whereas our other sister was making fun of my Halloween bags. So
I think she called us teachery or something.
She said it was old lady. And
maybe she said old lady.
It's not old lady, but she mixes up her genres of she's a very mainstream person, and she mixes up her genres of people who aren't mainstream a little bit, so she doesn't understand that there's a community of under 30 and under 40 crafties, and it's a crafty girl bag. It's
because she's not. Has she ever been crafty?
No, she's a lawyer. Not that you can't be a lawyer and be crafty, but and I'm sure that there are some of you that are lawyers who are like, "Hey, I'm crafty." She's not crafty.
She's just not.
We're
working on it.
Well, we are trying, but she and I bond over reality television, which I'll talk more about later, and politics and things, but not crafts. So
she's very supportive though, and she left us a comment too. So thank you.
We love you, and we can't wait to indoctrinate you. I forgot to show this bag earlier. This is what the Charlie was in, and this is another Thread Lady 99 bag that I really like. And I've now had 2 projects in there. And then, okay, my next whip Last time I mentioned this one was by the Witchy Stitcher, but I actually called it the wrong project. So I thought it was Frosted Pumpkin Cottage, which I have as kitted up, but this is actually Baba Yaga.
Oh, yeah, I looked at this one. I wanted this
I was inspired to, I saw that Bindi Stitchy, Michelle from Bindi Stitchy was stitching this. And I had looked at the Witchy Stitchers Etsy shop to find some patterns to buy to support Witchy for Stitchy. Stitchy for Witchy. I talked about this in the last video, and a lot of people know, but she has publicly talked about she has some like health issues and a rare form of cancer, and so people are buying patterns from her and joining her Patreon and stitching patterns they already have to support her, and it worked for me because I went and bought 4 patterns from her, and I was like, yeah, so
good cost.
So yeah, but I couldn't. The first time I went on her Etsy shop, for some reason I thought it was mostly like horror stuff, which it is. There's a lot of horror.
Yeah. But
I didn't see the more traditional Halloween-y like stuff, and I didn't see this. I must have just not looked at everything.
Yeah.
And then Michelle Bindi, well, her name's not Michelle Bindi, but Michelle from Bindi Stitchy was stitching this one. I was like, oh, that one's for me. And I bought that, and I bought a few more, and I'll talk about the other ones in plans. But my goal so this was just this, and you'll see I totally messed up measuring it. Then thought I had to frog everything and move it, was about to, then remeasured it and thought, no, I was right. I have a 2-inch border on that side. Then stitched it, realized no. So I messed up the measurement on this twice. But it's fine. It's a seasonal piece. I don't have a big border for framing, but I'm not going to frame it. I'll just finish it in some other way.
And yeah, if it's seasonal.
Yeah. So, and I love stitching it, but I keep messing up. I have frogged multiple sections of this. Like I messed up the moon at first, had to redo that. I messed up the window. I didn't have to frog any of it, but I had to like really look at it and count and figure out like how I messed it up to fix it. I did fix it. So, and I'm trying to do it has a bunch of colors in it. Actually, it's not just black, but I'm going to try to color complete and do all the black first, because the black is like 5,000 of the 6,000 stitches in it, and then go in and fill in. And they do have a lot of other colors.
Oh,
there are number 2. There are a lot of other colors in it, and I know putting things on bags is not as pretty on the film, but I like these a lot better than floss drops. My floss drops would get tangled by my children because my son likes to just come and grab whatever I'm working off the table and run away. So this is much safer for me. So I'll fill in those other colors when I'm done with the black. But my goal for this one is to get it almost done so that I can finish it on Witchy Stitcher Day.
Yeah. And
post about it on Witchy Stitcher Day. If that doesn't happen, that's okay. But that would be cool if I could get it done where it was like I just had to put it over the finish line on that day. And then my other Witchy Stitcher Day plans I'll talk about in plans later. But that's my plan for this one. And it's in this really cute black cat bag from Carrie Sews For You. And I just love the rickrack. And this is another one where this is where Valerie thought I was being really nerdy.
Valerie, we both love it.
The Notions bag is so cute. And this is one where she sent the Notions bag, and I, with it, just as a thank you for purchasing a few bags. And I love it. It's so cute. But yeah, that's where she was like, okay, who are you? I was like, oh no, it goes further than that. But I love the bag. And when this one's done, I'm going to I have a black cat project I'm going to start. And when this one's done, that is going to move into here.
So you reuse them. That's why you need so many bags.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I'm using every bag I own has a project in it. I just have way more projects kitted up than would make you comfortable. Oh, this is my final whip, which we talked about this last time too, but this is the very beginning of my back to school Sal start. So this is like 0.08, no, it's 0.8% done. So I'll be finished in 5 years at that. No, I at first I started it, but then I didn't like stitching something with so much extra fabric.
Yeah, it's hard to get used to.
And then I got over it, and I just forced myself to get over it, but I've only stitched on it 2 real days since then. So this is 2 days. So but I'll show the picture. This is based on another one of my photographs. That's it's called this piece I called the Turkish shop, and I'll show the photo that it's based on, and the mock-up from Max Stitch, which is how I make my patterns. And a lot of people ask, like, oh, like, I thought people in the cross stitch community knew you could easily convert anything to a pattern. It was really just a matter of what's the quality of that pattern coming out. Like,
I stumbled across it,
but a lot of people didn't know.
Yeah.
So I make my patterns in Max Stitch, which I bought, which is like $35 or $40 lifetime access. There are free ones too. But we'll when I've done a few more, then maybe we can make a video that's just about how to do that. But
now I'm having that flashback of her telling us that she broke her leg.
Oh my.
Broke her.
Okay, so you really need to watch Stitch Lit. But let me just double check the name of it because I think it's
Stitch Lit. Yeah.
Stitch Lit by Claire. But
yeah.
She has a story.
That story's been playing in my head all week. That my foot just fell asleep and so I'm like,
yeah, so Stitch Lit by Claire. So she has a story that she tells where her foot fell asleep and she stood up on it and it broke. And I didn't know that could happen.
I didn't know that could happen either.
I live in fear now.
I know. I had no idea.
So, yes, don't let your limbs fall asleep.
So that lives in my head, yeah.
So I'm not going to talk about this one for very long because I talked about it so much in the last video, but I really love it. It's my hashtag Back to School Sal. If you are new to Flosstube, Back to School was a stitch along where a bunch of people kitted up really big projects. It was started by Lauren, the New Hampshire Stitcher. And because it's one of those things where everyone kitted up really big projects, the progress photos are really funny because it's like, you know, 1 or 2% of like giant projects, but it's really fun. I would love to finish this by next Back to School, but I feel like it's not going to be.
I mean, that's a great goal.
I would have to stitch way more on it.
You would need to focus, yeah.
So far I haven't focused. And it is, right now it is housed in, which I did show this bag last time, but this Christmas Noel bag from Carrie Sews For You on Etsy, and it's got a little Christmas tree. And it's not, I bought a bag, I ordered a bag from her that's going to have this, that I'm going to move that to, because I know it's going to live in one bag for maybe 5 years. And then I'll move Christmas stuff into this one. But I found Carrie Sews For You because she put a couple of bags on sale for $20. And I got this bag for $20. Wow. And that's how I ended up getting addicted to her bags.
Oh, no.
But I love this bag. Like, it's just so big. Like, it holds that giant project. And then this is these are the threads for that project. Like, just the threads for this project alone would not fit in a lot of my bags. Yeah. All right, so that is it for whips. Let's see, what is next? Plans.
Okay, I'm gonna go first.
Okay.
Because mine are shorter. Last time my plan was to work on my full coverage piece and I didn't pick it up once. So this time, I'm not gonna include that. And if it happens, it happens. But I'm too excited because I've purchased one pattern and I've ordered another pattern that's not here yet. And I want to start both of them in the next month. I don't know exactly how long because I'm really enjoying stitching.
So one pattern's here. You can talk about it in haul, but why don't you talk about the other one? Because I'm vicariously, I want to stitch this too, but I'm just going to live through you because I'm not going to stitch it this year. But
I could gift it to you when I'm done.
When you're done, yeah. In a couple of years. Well, actually, you might finish it this year.
I'll probably finish it, yeah.
But why don't you talk about it?
Okay, so it's called, and correct me if I'm wrong because I'm not good at this. My memory sucks. It's called The Pumpkin House by...
Hello from Liz Matthews.
Hello from Liz Matthews. I know it was Liz Matthews. Hello from Liz Matthews.
This is what it looks like.
Isn't it just like a work of art? Like,
so beautiful.
I know, like, I feel like if I was in a museum and I was just walking around, that would be on the wall somewhere. That would be in the museum. Like, it's gorgeous. The two tones, and I don't know. I fell in love with it, so I bought it, and I wanted it to look exactly like that. So I tried very hard to get the exact match of the exact fabrics that she's using, but they were sold out. And everywhere I looked for it, the only places that had it were selling it for like, I don't know, 3 or 4 times what it was listed for. Yeah, it was insane. Maybe not that high.
Maybe like bigger
but,
cuts of it too.
And yeah, like I'm sure it was a different form of cut or whatever, because but you only need the small one, so I wasn't gonna buy a big piece. Anyway, so I purchased 3 different options, because that's not insane. And I'm gonna of blue to go with. I did get the right beige, but I couldn't get the blue. So I got 3 different options, and I'm just gonna pick the one I like the best for this project when they get here. But they're not here yet. But I do want to start that right away. So as soon as it gets here, it'll be a start. And yeah.
I'm excited to see you stitch it.
I'm so excited.
The 2 fabrics, Artsy Housewife has a couple pieces that I showed you. One that's called Grace, which I bought. That's 3 different pieces of fabric stitched together, and I love that idea.
I don't know how I'm gonna do it, honestly. Yeah. I'm very scared, but it also is like, that's exciting. Like, I want to try different things. So
I think it'll be wonderful.
I think so too. I'm really excited.
You also have the patience to like keep figuring it out.
I do.
Yeah.
Because I want to. I guess I don't know the terms, but I'm definitely I want to see this done stitcher. What do you call it? Process stitcher or project?
I think it's a project stitcher. Like you want the project on the wall.
Like I enjoy stitching it and it's so much fun, but I want it on the wall. I want to see my final product. Like I want that museum piece on my bedroom wall. I know exactly where it's gonna go. Yeah, so
that's so exciting.
Yeah.
And the other piece you're gonna start, we'll talk about at haul.
Yeah.
Because it's actually physically here. And I teased it in the title, I'm sure, but we went to the Silver Needle, and so we're just gonna show all of that stuff all at once. All right, so my plans. Okay, so I would like to finish the Black Sand Beach and the Darling Starling, which I already mentioned, because those are both each of those needs less than 2,000 stitches. So I should be able to finish both of those or get them close to being finished. I would also like to get Baba Yaga close to the finish line so I can finish it on Witchy Stitcher Day. If none of that happens, I won't like be upset. But those are kind of like my finishing plans. And then I want to just bust out all of my Halloween and autumn stitching. So I have a little bit of Halloween started, but basically, I'm gonna finish the frame for the Witch's Garden Craft Sal so that I can do that during October. And then I have I bought Frosted Pumpkin Cottage and Ghost Stories from the Witchy Stitcher. And then I bought another one that's not Halloween themed called Poisonous Plants. And on October 1st, Witchy Stitcher Day, I would like to start all of those so that I can post all of them as starts on Instagram. And then to support that effort. And then also I would like to, then Frosted Pumpkin Cottage and Ghost Stories, I'm going to keep stitching through October. Poisonous Plants, I'll put that down and I won't pick it up until Halloween's over because it's not a Halloween piece. And then I also have a piece by Witch's Garden Crafts called Karamia, which I'll show a picture of, that I started on Ada and hated, and I bought a linen for it, and I'm going to restart that. And also Black Cat Season by Lindy Stitches, which I'll talk about more in haul. And then I bought Moonlight Pumpkin Carving, Lola Crow. Cross Stitch came out with it. I'm obsessed with this picture. So I'll show, this is the picture. And I'm obsessed with it. And I can't wait to start it. I have black, I don't know if I have the exact colors, but I'm going to kit it from Stash. Like I have everything you would theoretically need to kit it from Stash. Because I already have Black Ada that I bought for something else. That I decided, I bought 2 Black Adas for Poisonous Plants. Because I bought one from a box store, and then I decided to buy one from Lindy Stitches. Because I wanted to see if there was a quality difference. So whichever one, I'll just use them both. And then autumn stitching, I have one pattern by KB Studios that I'll talk about in haul that I want to start. I want to start Dark Golden Delicious by the Artsy Housewife because it's the only piece I've bought. Well, it's the only piece from her that feels autumnal, but also I bought it and kitted it up. So I'm going to start that. And then I'm going to start Pretty Pumpkins by Forest Embroidery, which is a free pattern. And that way I can do Forest Fridays. And I talked about on the last video, like Forest Embroidery and the Artsy Housewife are basically my aesthetic. Like those two are my aesthetic. And so I want to stitch a lot of it. Whereas a lot of this Halloween stuff is not my real aesthetic, but it will be fun to stitch during Halloween. Seasonal. And then it'll be fun to put it away. Whereas like
I'm gonna keep it on my wall, and that's just my that's my vibe.
Right.
So
So for me, it's like Pretty Pumpkins is kind of like from Embroidery, which I'll show, is beautiful, but I'm not gonna stitch it when autumn's over. But there are a couple pieces of Embroidery that I am gonna start later that I'll stitch year round that I'm excited about. Then I'm gonna start my reality TV stitch, which is insane, and I'm so excited about it. So I love reality television. Like, oh, I got this for $6.
What?
At Basket Market.
Oh, that's funny.
We're not gonna talk about Basket Market.
We won't talk about Basket Market.
I did get it for $6 at Basket Market.
That's
that
really
Basket
cool.
Market is like an Oklahoma City only, very specific outlet store that we're not gonna talk about.
It's got like off-season holiday stuff.
Yeah.
So
and
like,
a lot of like one-off things.
If you went there now, you couldn't buy Christmas. You would have to buy Easter. Like it's just that's just their inventory.
And I hadn't heard of it. I found out about from I think Mrs. Jones' YouTube, because she is a YouTuber that also lives in the Oklahoma City. She's a Flosstuber.
Yeah.
That also lives in the Oklahoma City metro. So I'll link her. And she has some good videos about her state fair pieces, which we'll talk about our state fair experience on the next video because it's not finished yet. We don't have the back. But if you're a state fair entry type person, go watch her videos because she has videos from this year and last year about getting ready for the state fair, and then last year like her results.
I know. I watched this year's. I haven't watched last year's, but I watched this year's, and it's so impressive. Like, I'm so happy she did a tour of all the different ones that people entered, because when Stephanie said, "Hey, we're entering into the state fair," I was like, "It's not getting it. There's no way." I mean, and some of them are like outstanding that she showed, but it also made me feel better that it's like, oh, like that's similar to one I've done.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's awesome. Like maybe I am good enough.
So she's the person that I found out about Basket Market from, and this is actually an iPad bag, but I was like, oh, that could be a project bag.
That's awesome.
I like project bags, but I don't only like expensive project. I like any bag that's super cute that I can put a project in.
Yeah.
So this is my reality TV stitch. So I watch a lot of reality junk TV. And I was thinking like I need a project that I stitch during that, so at the end of the year or whenever I can be like, well, I watched a lot of Real Housewives, Vanderpump Rules, Sister Wives, but I also made this artwork during that time. So I was in a local, it was the Hope Center's just shop. What's it called?
It's just a charity resale shop.
Yeah, I was in a local charity resale shop.
Like local to our specific community, which is also really special. You should, if you have one, you should go shop there.
And they had this pattern for sale for $1. So it's a told in a garden pattern, and I'll put it. I'll put this here, but then I'll also show like a computer image of it. But I like this is of Lancaster County, the Amish who live in Lancaster County, and I've like lived in Pennsylvania for a long time too. So I bought the pattern because it was $1. I was like, well, worst case, I can resell this on eBay for $8. But then I was looking at it, I was like, actually, I really like it. It's more traditional than my normal style of like art. Yeah. But I really like it, and I like all the detail and all the quilts, because I do think I want to do quilting eventually, like not that level of quilting, but scrappy quilts. And so I love it. And the reason it makes my for a perfect reality TV stitch is because it calls for 8, which I don't think I could do linen and pay attention to a TV show, but it specifically calls for khaki, Ada, or sage. Now, if you're a Real Housewives of New York fan, I don't know what the crossover of Flosstube to Real Housewives is, but it might just be me, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So I bought summer khaki Ada. It's sage summer khaki Ada, so it's actually perfect. And I got it from Lenny Stitches, but it's Witchy, and I know you can get it from a lot of places. But Jenna Lyons, new Real Housewife of New York, had a party, and she used to be in charge of J. Crew, so she's like very fashionable, but also like khaki is a very J. Crew color. And the dress code was like black and khaki, and all the girls showed up in black, and she was so annoyed. And she goes in her confessional, she's like, "Well, khaki is a color." So I was like, okay, this is perfect, because I don't want to stitch some junky like reality TV picture or something. Like, I do think I want to make some of those eventually just for me. But I was like, this will be fine because it's on Ada, it'll be easy. And so it's my khaki as the color reality TV stitch. And it might get done before anything else because between all of the sister wives that I have to like that I love, and then I also listen to a lot of podcasts that are about the show. Allison's like, this is our other sister.
Just because when you like something, you like
I love
hardcore, like,
yeah.
I'm in it. Let's do all of it. Let me learn everything I possibly can about it. And I have things like that, that I'm like that too. But I think it's funny, the different things that we all pick to do the I'm all in thing, and how you're all in and I'm just like all out.
I'm all in on Bravo TV. Bravo, like almost anything on Bravo I will watch.
Yeah.
TLC, it's more like Sister Wives, yes. I used to watch the Duggars a lot, so I just bought Jill Duggars, like, I told you about this yesterday. Allison's like, I can't listen to this again. I just listened to Jill Duggar's whole memoir. She burned it down. If you were interested in the book was, if you know anything about the Duggars, that book was good and devastating. It was really good. So like I just
that was quite a pitch. I would read that now. No interest in who the Duggars are. But.
Well, I watched her wedding and stuff in real time on TLC, but then on TLC also like 90 Day Fiance, and my fiance and I met overseas, and so we went through that same application process. So oddly enough, actually, that show is not just like a fun trashy show, but in a funny way does show us a lot of problems that we have in our relationship back to us, and it's nice to know you're not alone with some of these very specific like cross-cultural issues. So I can't wait. And the thing about starting,
you pitched the educational purposes of reality TV. That was wonderful.
I learned so many things.
That was wonderful.
But the exciting thing about, I'm going to do a lot of starts this month because what I've learned is I love stitching like 100 or 200 stitches on multiple projects each day instead of sitting down and focusing on one. But it's very difficult for me to start anything with my kids and the chaos and everything. So once something is started, I will pick it back up. But there are a lot of things I'm just looking at like kidded that because they're not started, I cannot start. Like I cannot sit there and cut fabric and measure and organize anything if you're in a room where a child may be calmly playing on the floor and you think, oh, I could just wrap some thread around a bobbin. No, because as soon as you see that that's what you're doing and you care about it, he's ripping it out of your hands and running like little scissors. So the project bags also keep my son from impaling himself on scissors because he doesn't know that they're in there.
Yeah.
So those are my major plans. I know that's a lot, but I'd rather have a lot of things started and stitch 100 stitches on each a day and be happy than stress myself out about finishing one.
Stitch all the things.
Finishing that dog the last few days when I did not want to finish that dog was really painful.
So do you think, that's a good question. I have a question for you. Are you going to stop on stuff that you don't like? Was it FFU?
Well, UFO.
UFO.
FFU, that's
whatever.
Better.
I don't FFU. That's what I'm doing, all these projects.
I think, well, one, it was the only thing I've stitched so far that I didn't love the pattern to begin with and picked it for educational purposes because it was an inexpensive way to practice a skill. So nothing else is like that. Like whatever the process of stitching, everything else is a design I really love.
Yeah.
But I did learn, don't sign up for things. If you don't love it, don't start it. And for a mystery stitch along or something, if I decide I don't love it as it's going, maybe do what you see some stitchers do and wait and then move things around later. Because like there have been a couple instances where I've seen people like wait till the chart was done and then redo pieces that weren't for them so that they had a piece that they loved. And I think, I don't know if I'm that
would take the game out of it for me though. Like I want to play along.
So I think it's this one we're going to do is like so fast paced. It's like just go, go, go. But if something was being released every week and you had time to think about like, you know, this element, maybe I'll hold off on this piece and then you go to the next piece or whatever. So, those are my plans. I'm really excited about them. We'll see. I stitched 6,000 stitches the first half of September. Those plans include like 10,000 stitches. So whichever pieces of it fall by the wayside, I will be okay with because I know it's more than I can handle, but
You want options.
I would like, yeah, if it inspired me to stitch 7,000 or 8,000 stitches, great. You know, I'm a big plans. I would rather make big plans on fall short than set realistic plans. And I do this in every part of my life. Because if I meet realistic plans, that doesn't do anything for me.
Because you're an overachiever, and that's awesome.
If I do stretch goals, I won't usually meet the stretch goal, but I will do more than I would have otherwise.
I get it, yeah.
All right, so.
I'm not a planner. Like, I like to have a rough estimate of what I'm going to do, but I've always been of the mindset, like, when things change your mind. Like, and so, you know, just go with the flow, I guess.
So my flexibility is built into the options,
yeah.
but your flexibility is built into not making plans and then deciding things as you go.
Yeah.
All right, you ready for haul?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so we went to this. All of our haul is not from the Silver Needle, and we actually were very good at the Silver Needle, and I think really responsible shoppers.
So too. Like, I did spend more than I thought I was going to spend, but that was my own, like, I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing, and just buying everything. So, we did really well. Though.
Just for like, so we each spent about $75 at the Silver Needle, which I think is really reasonable for our first LNS.
It's reasonable for you, and it's a lot less reasonable for me, just because I'm not used to spending a whole lot of money at the same time on my hobbies. Like, I've always tried to thrift my hobbies.
You're not a treat yourself person.
I am not a treat myself person.
And I do love a thrift store haul, and I have some thrift store haul, but
this was definitely a treat yourself trip.
But it was we drove 90 minutes to Tulsa to go to the Silver Needle, which is one of the like LNSs that is a little more well known. Like, you hear people talk about like coming there from like Ohio or Minneapolis or whatever to go to their classes. And we did get on the wait list for a class for next year. So hopefully some of you guys cancel.
Yeah.
But
that's mean. Oh, that's mean. Cut that part out. But we really want to go. So
but they said we were like 19 and 20th on the list, and that for sure that many people will drop out just over time.
Just because it's like almost a year away,
and it's like a huge, like over 100 people class.
Yeah.
So I won't be devastated if we don't make it, but it would be cool to make it.
It would be really cool.
Yeah,
like I'm looking forward to it.
And I'm going to use points in the hotel room, so you don't have to feel like we're spending a ton of money on the trip.
That's good.
And also too, like.
And I have almost a year to get used to the fact that I'm going to spend money on myself.
We could like stay in, like we could drive there and back each day too, but I would rather just stay until it's 90 minutes. It's not that long, but it would be annoying to do 3 days. It
would be more of a trip, more of an experience, more of a retreat if we did it.
And stay and like talk to people.
Yeah.
So it was great to be at the Silver Needle. Yeah. And at the end of the video, at the very end, I took a bunch of video footage of the store, and I'll post. I'm probably, my guess is interspersing a couple pictures here and there while we talk about it, but who knows what is happening. But at the end of the video, I'll put some of the video footage that we shot of the store. It was my first time seeing in person some like the score news and pin keeps and like objects, and there were so many samplers.
So many.
And she said, one of the women there said a lot of the stuff had been taken down to go to Galleria. So a lot of the samplers that were up were things that are not normally up, which is cool because then later when we go back, it'll be like a different set of stuff. But then also like it didn't feel like there wasn't as much stuff up as normal.
I know.
So it's like, what does the back room look like?
It was overwhelming for me. Just because I want to see everything, and you would have to spend hours and hours and hours.
We were there for 90 minutes. We were starving and cranky, and our backs hurt.
From bending over?
Yeah. So I'm excited to go back. And there was only one other set of people there while we were there. So you guys should go. Everyone go to the Silver Needle so they don't close, because Oklahoma City used to have an LNS that is closed.
That is. So yeah, treasure your local stores, really.
And I know we'll go back up at least one time this winter, but probably not this year.
Yeah.
Apparently they have a sale over Super Bowl weekend, so I know we'll go up during that time. Especially if the Packers are not in the Super Bowl.
Well, we can't say that out loud. Go knock on wood, because he will blame you.
If the Cowboys,
he will blame you.
If the Cowboys and the Packers are not in the Super Bowl, then Allison will have a lot more freedom.
Right.
And I don't think the Chiefs are gonna. Well, no, the Chiefs could go back. It's hard to go back to like that.
But they could.
But they could, and
they are very good.
So, all right. So let's do our Silver Needle haul, and then we'll do the other couple of things.
Okay.
And guys, like I said, I think we were pretty responsible.
I mean, yes, I'm not like mad about any of the things I bought. So,
but now you know. Okay, next time we go up in a few months, things will be on sale, and you'll have your Christmas money. You'll be able to like plan things, and also like so much of what you want, you can get online when you need it. So it was fun seeing stuff you didn't know you wanted, but it wasn't like I had a long list of things I needed.
What I bought, I've never seen online, so I was just like, all right, this is great.
You go first.
Okay, I think this is all I got. This and this? No, and this. Okay. So I'm going to start with the pattern that I found by Ink Circles. And Stephanie, you can put a picture.
I'm going to put a picture up too. I'm trying to make it without the glare, but I will put a picture up too. But it is fun just to have a paper pattern. Yeah. We never have.
Because we never do. Because we don't have a local needle store.
I know.
This one's called Another Year Creeps By. And this is my aesthetic. This is like kind of dark, but funny dark, not like serious dark.
And it's kind of prim, but like
dark.
Modern.
Yeah. And I don't know how
maybe if I take it out, it'll have less glare.
Okay. But I saw this. We saw the model, and I was like really drawn to it. I was like, that, I've never seen that one before. And
the model was just like laying on a table. It was like it was meant for you to find.
Well, and I saw it and I was like, oh, well, that's really cool. But I didn't see the pattern for it around. And she had said like stuff's kind of moved around right now because of that thing that they were going to. But I didn't see the pattern for it, and I was kind of like bummed. And I was like, well, should I ask where it is? Are they gonna know? Because there's so many things in there. And then I just like turned the corner and there it was. And I think there were only like 2 there. And I was like, okay, well, it's meant to be, and I have to stitch this. And it's just so pretty for being so dark. It's so pretty. So I wanted to stitch, this, but the model was on the called for fabric,
which is Dapple by Pictureless Plus.
Yes,
I just looked at it.
Okay, great. And
40 count Dapple by linen by Pictureless Plus is the called for.
Yeah, and they didn't have that specific fabric at the store. And honestly, I thought it was a little dark. I wanted it to be just a tad lighter.
It was a little blue.
It was more blue,
which I liked, but it
was a darker blue.
Yeah.
So the woman who was working there was so helpful and was like showing us all the different things, and we were kind of trying to decide, and we found this one.
Do you remember what this one's called?
This one is Prehistoric. It's written on the back.
Oh, yeah.
By Fox and...
I think it's still Pictureless Plus.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, the tag is.
Oh, is it?
Fox and Rabbit.
Fox and Rabbit.
I like the
40 count Prehistoric. And it is this like very light lavender, almost like between blue and lavender.
Let's see, is it showing up?
I don't know if you can see it.
It's kind of reading more
gray.
Gray.
It's more purple than this. But it's really beautiful, and I think it'll go with the colors in the pattern really well. And there's a
sorry, I was getting a notification that my grocery delivery is going to be early, which is a problem, but it is what it is.
Okay. Classic Colorworks hand-dyed cotton is what was called for, but
you're doing a DMC.
There is a DMC conversion, and that's the one I'm doing. Just so I can pull. I have a big stash of DMC because it's all I use. So I'm going to pull from stash what I can and then just fill in what I don't have. And then that was Ink Circles. That pattern was by Ink Circles. And then I hadn't heard of these until Flosstube, but Mill Hill Kits?
So
I had no idea.
CrossStitch.
Yeah.
Chris X-Stitch. I don't know how he pronounces it, but
he's
the first person. I know other people were stitching Mill Hill Kits, but he's the first one that I felt like really lovingly explained all of the beauty and intricacy and detail, and this was it was either his first or second video back, so I really loved watching him talk about them. And so we were just, when we actually got to, this is something where ordering them online would not have been as fun as seeing them in person.
Yeah, because you could see the model and you're like, oh, it's a really cool looking Like this one is called, it's a series called Festival of Trees.
Here, let me take it out of the.
Yeah, I couldn't get mine out.
Oh.
But mine's an old-fashioned tree. I think yours is what, the
Victorian tree. Yeah, it reminds me of Samantha from the American Girl dolls. What her Christmas tree would be like. So it's that's why I got it.
I got mine. There's some toys at the bottom of the Christmas tree, and one of them is a Raggedy Ann doll. And that was my doll growing up. I still have it. It's in my closet. It's been chewed on by a dog, but it was like my prized possession growing up. So it's a little Raggedy Ann doll, and I really am excited to do this. But I probably won't break it out until December.
Yeah, I bought these to stitch them in December, but
Yeah.
they're okay. So I had seen other people stitching Mill Hill kits too, but Chris is just the first person that I think I saw, and also
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people.
The perforated paper sounded intimidating, so it was really fun to get to see in person how sturdy it is, and that I'm not gonna because
It sounded like
I was picturing
paper.
like almost like a wax paper, like a sturdy wax paper.
Yeah.
And I always feel like everyone who has watched us must know so much more about cross stitch than
I
we
feel
do.
that too.
But if you're not familiar with Mill Hill kits, they come with the perforated paper and all the floss and all of the beads that you need, and they're really affordable.
Oh yeah, the whole kit was like, I was like, oh, I would definitely pay that for an ornament.
Yeah.
Like, even if assembly is required, I would totally pay that. So
there we go.
So I just had to have that one, and I've never worked with beads before, and I'm excited to try that.
Yeah, and it also just I love how people talk about being able to do them relatively quickly. So I feel like if I busted this out December 1st, I would have an ornament for my tree.
I think so.
But yeah, so I'll just go ahead and show the ones that I got, because I got a few more than you. There were so many walls they have a model stitcher who stitches almost every kit that they had a model for it, and they had a lot of the small ornament ones, and then they had some of the bigger buttons and beads series. And I only bought Christmas because I feel like I already told you guys what my autumn and Halloween plans are, and I feel like those plans are full, and I am not interested in adding anything to that pile. But so I would decide to go ahead and get some Christmas ones, and I also felt like, well, I'll stitch these this year, but if one doesn't get stitched, then it's just a perfectly kitted thing I can pull out next year.
I know, that's also really a little bit of a stress relief.
Yeah.
You can have something really pretty, but it's not going to take you a million years to put together.
And then another thing I liked about these was they had a bunch of them finished of the bigger ones finished as pillows. So, and they had a bunch of pre-cuts of 9x9 linen that kind of matched the pillows that they had made for them. So I went ahead, even though I do have linen, I went ahead and just bought one of their pre-cuts so that I could turn one of these into a pillow. And then the other one I'll just I'll get the linen cut myself. But if you skip the perforated paper on the bigger ones and do it on a fabric, then it is easier to turn into a pillow. Whereas this size, I'm not super interested in having as an ornament, but I might take the perforated paper left over and do something else with, I could do something else with them to turn into ornaments. But actually, I bought an Alf Forest ornament pattern that is a series of 8 circles. It's so cute, and I might do some of those on. What
are the circles mean?
Oh no, they're ornaments, but they're this shape.
Okay, I'm with you now. And they have secret circles. I don't know.
They have birds on them. They're birds in the snow. You know.
Okay. Oh, that's probably. Really
but I'll post a picture of them too. But I'm excited to stitch those, and I just want to do a lot of Christmas stitching, and I want to feel no guilt putting it away at the end of the season. And so I love seeing these kits in person. Was the only thing before on the way to the store. I was the only thing that I feel like I could definitely need to see in person to get it. I mean, it was great seeing a lot of other stuff in person, but is the kits. And I didn't realize how many millions of kits there are, and that they have every season too. So I didn't buy anything that wasn't Christmas, but when we go there in January, I might buy some spring and summer ones.
I saw some Easter-ish egg ones that I was I would totally stitch that. But I don't want to plan that far ahead. That just means
I was you know what? I'll come back.
Yeah.
They'll be on sale. I'll get what I want to get for next year. But let me just get some Christmas ones. Oh, and then we also got some fancy needles.
They're over there.
So we both have 1 or 2 projects that's going to be done on 40 count linen, and neither of us have done 40 count linen. So we did go ahead when we bought the size 28 needles. We did go ahead and
It's a different brand.
Yeah, we got 2 different brands so that we could just swap half of each and each try and see. Because, you know, some people really love this brand. It's John James needles. It's like a yellow and black package. Okay. But anyway, so we each bought a pack, and then we'll swap half so we can try out the fancy needles.
I'm worried about using this needle. Are you? They're so tiny, and I don't know.
I'm gonna have magnifiers on. I'm gonna look crazy, but I'll be able to see. I got one more cross. That's your cross stitch haul from.
That's everything I got. Yep.
I got one more cross stitch pattern. So they have a table in the back. Well, 2 tables in the back, where everything is 50% off. And we did so good not loading up on that table. Like, I only bought 2 things from that table. You didn't get anything from that
table. I didn't. But that's where I saw the Easter one, and I was like, well, but I don't want to make that commitment. But it was half off, so I probably should have done it. But this is my frugal thing, like popping out.
Oh, it's good. It's
whatever.
Good.
It is what it is.
So this pattern is by Stacey Nash Primitives. It's called Sisters 3 Pin Keep. And as we have talked, we're sisters, but we also have talked about our other sisters. So I thought it'd be fun to get this and then make it into something, but also slightly guilt her into joining a round robin with us that she will not join.
We think we should each stitch a sister. Like, that's reasonable, Valerie.
Yeah.
Why do you hate
We
us?
can just change it to our hair colors, Valerie. Why don't you want to do this with us?
Amazing. How special would that be to like?
Oh, and we could give it to our mother.
We could give it to our mother. Do you hate our mother?
So this pattern was $6. It was 50%.
And it's really,
it was
really
$6.
pretty.
It's really cute, and I don't have
cute.
anything in my on my plans that are like this kind of prem sampler that's so.
I've seen so many Stacey Nash ones that I want. In fact, that's the
designer. So the class that we got on the wait list for next summer is Stacey Nash.
I'm excited.
I don't know if so this stitch is up. It's on 32 count Belfast linen, and it has some. I'm not planning on stitching this like tomorrow or anything. I just got it because I was like, I couldn't get it.
Yeah.
But I have no plans to start it.
I think we should do it in Christmas season, and then mail it to Valerie and be like,
your turn.
If you wanted to bring this back for Christmas,
you need to start on 32 count linen. And
well, we gave you a kit that was basically for children, so if you don't know, that's on you.
You didn't learn by now.
I mean, come on, it's been 2 weeks.
And the other thing I got was I've actually seen this book on the Fat Quarter Shop website. It's called Simple Jelly Rolls by It's So Emma, and I had seen it on their website. And I thought about buying it a few times because I want to get back into sewing, and I have bought. I mentioned I bought some fabric for a gift, and then I also bought a couple jelly rolls for me to make into a lap quilt for myself. And so I know I'm not going to use a pattern from this book for that because I'm going to do a St. Louis the 16. I'll show you later. But
I'm interested.
It's a very simple pattern with jelly rolls where you flip things around, and so you have a 8x8 checkerboard square, and then you have multiple 8x8 checkerboard squares, but within each one, it's very easy to make each block, but then you still get like a really colorful, like eclectic, scrappy looking quilt. But I'm excited because I don't have any plans to use this, but I'm very interested in jelly roll quilts, and I'm very excited to own this book and to use it in the future.
We are book people. We are literature people.
Mm-hmm. I have a few other. So Tattered has. First of all, if you're not watching So Tattered,
oh yeah, I love So Tattered.
Her Flosstube is wonderful,
yeah.
And but she always has like a different quilt behind her, and she's such a quilter that it's really inspired me. And she's doing a quilt along that I'm not joining because I'm not ready. But she did inspire. I did buy the book that they're doing. I bought a book based on her recommendation. I don't think the quilt they're doing in the quilt along is from that book, but she had like recommended that book. And when I saw there were only 12 copies from the Overstock place, I was like, oh, they might not reprint this book. So I went ahead and bought it. It's not here yet, but like it's called like Wonderful Lap Quilts. And it's like, I would like to be a person that just always has a couple quilts. And then La La Dee Stitches I watched her last quilting video, and I'd seen her Flosstube, but I hadn't watched her quilting.
I did watch
it was so good, but also she has quilts that she's been working on for like 10 and 20 years, and it's like with cross stitch, she slowly works on a block or two, and it's like, I think I'll end up being that kind of quilter. Like I might have 20 quilts in envelopes and a cap covered and one finished one, and that's okay.
You need like to buy an extra house.
Well,
we
are trying to buy a house.
Well, you need two.
But also, like, so when I lived in Europe, I had an office for my blogging, like a whole like separate office downtown. But obviously in America, the rent is not going to afford. So when we move, I really do need an office back, and then it will be. Then I will have space for a craft room in it, because it will be.
That would be nice.
Like I need a space where I can like shut the door and work. So I'm hoping that within a year I will have the space for it. But if not, I just have a lot of under the bed storage systems happening, which is fine. Yeah. I'm also going to de-stash a lot of my camera stuff that I know I'm not going to be able to get back into. And I know when I get back in, when I start doing, so I used to carry around like 6 kilogram cameras, and with a child and 2 children, you really can't do that. So now someone asked me like what I do my photos on, and I take a lot on iPhone, because I cannot fly with or carry or utilize a lot of camera equipment when you're doing like a family travel trip. So I have a lot of like giant lenses and things, and I know when I get able to be back into it at the level I want to be at, I'm going to switch to a mirrorless system, and these lenses I have will not be compatible with that system. So I need to de-stash my camera stash and stash it up with cross-stitch stuff, and then in the future I'll have room for both. But
Good.
And that doesn't count the box of Soviet era cameras that I have, but that are.
I have Soviet era.
During the pandemic, I collected Soviet and like film cameras. I love them, and I use them. Like I know how to use them.
That's cool.
But film photography is a lot more expensive than cross stitch.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Like what we spent at the Silver Needle is like an afternoon of being a film photography person. So I love them, and I will be using them in the future, and I will not be getting rid of them. But I would like to be able to display them because I have like 8 Soviet cameras. But I was living in a place where you could literally buy them on the street, so it wasn't like difficult to get. Okay, so that was our Silver Needle haul. What other hauls do you have? I thought this video would be shorter than last time, and it will be longer.
Okay,
that's fine.
Well, I just got knickknacks from the rest. I got threaders because this is gonna be gross, but I lick my threads in order to floss them, or whatever. And I decided that that's probably gross, and I
don't think it's a problem. There's a whole channel called Licking Floss, and her videos are great too.
I know.
I love her videos. She shows a lot of like modern projects, but she also shows a lot of Native Alaskan artwork and like not projects, but like art that her family has had in the past.
I've only watched her video.
And I love her videos. Yeah. I'll link her in the description.
But it is a bad habit because germs. So I got these to try and break the habit. And then I just got bobbins and threads and stuff.
Cool. And stuff for more needle minders.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some stuff that I think would be a cute needle minder. Another butterfly, but like a bigger one anyway.
So I ordered this in August, but it just got here because it was a pre-order. So Lindy Stitches put out a new set of 6 patterns, and I'll show the picture, called Black Cat Season. And you can stitch them individually, but she had her model stitched up as a bell pull. And I have not done a bell pull, obviously, and don't really know how you use a bell pull in real life, like where I assume it would just be a wall hanging in practicality. But my son likes a show that's from Spain, I believe, that is dubbed into English on YouTube called Taddy and Missy Foo, and it's about Taddy, who's a little witch girl, and Missy Foo is her black cat, who's kind of a curmudgeon. He's kind of like if Eeyore was like a little more sarcastic. And my son likes to pretend to be Missy Foo the black cat. And so when I saw this, I was like, oh, he would love it if I was stitching a black cat. And I would know too later you know, in 5 or 10 years when it's on the wall, that it would make me think of this time of our lives. So it was a little pricey to get the, it's not a finishing kit, but to get the actual like pull, but the they had
That's really cute.
Stephanie from Lindy Stitches had like a woodworker, and I can't remember the name of the company, make these as part of like what the bell pull would go on. And so even though it was a little pricey, I was like, this is going to be a piece I cherish. It's also probably going to take me 2 or 3 years to stitch it, but it will always remind me of this time of our crazy son's life, my crazy son's life. And then I did go ahead and buy it's not a kit, but I did buy the package of flosses from her. It's in Weeks Dye Works. I know some people don't stitch in Weeks Dye Works. I don't feel like I really understand what happened with them in the past, and you don't stitch with Fancy Quilts anyway, so you don't really care. So I don't really understand the controversy, and I didn't know that this was going to be in Weeks Dye Works. I've only used them when they've been called for, so I would like to find out more, but I don't really know how to find. There have been a few times where Flosstubers will drop tea, and it's very difficult to find out what the backstory is because nobody is like writing articles, you know, like.
You wish this was more reality TV style.
Yeah, so so if you know what the Weeks Dye Works
write a tell-all
controversy is, tell me so I can know if like that's the stand I need to take or not. I don't know, but I just know like if you don't stitch in Weeks Dye Works, I think there is a DMC conversion, or you could easily convert this because they're very Halloween. But yeah, please drop the tea. Yeah. If you have any cross stitch tea ever and you want to just drop it in our comments, we love tea. And then the call for fabric is from Grace Stitch Fabric. It's Blackberry Latte, and it's a skinny quarter so that the bell pull comes out, and it's a blackberry latte. Sorry, not mulberry, but it's a beautiful purple. I can't tell if the color is reading right on the. And I learned from her. I mean, she was talking about it, and I literally pre-ordered it during the video because I was like,
I've done that.
This is me.
Like, not just wait a minute, I need to order.
So this is a skinny quarter, so it's instead of a fat quarter, which I learned is like just a different way of cutting it. But I also was like, well, let me just order it from her because I don't know if I have the skills at this point to get a skinny quarter from someone else. Like I would probably have ended up just buying like a giant piece of fabric and cutting it myself and spending more money. But the color's really pretty, and I think the pattern's
huge.
It's because you got a 3-inch margin, so it's 6 smalls.
No, I didn't know it was that long.
Yeah. So I'm going to count each individual small when it's finished as a finish, but I'm stitching them all together. But you can buy in them as individual patterns, and you can also stitch them in any combination. Like you could just make a pillow out of one of them, and it would still be. But
I didn't realize that is a project.
It is a project, and I'm very excited about it. But I did order it in August, and I didn't know how many other Halloween things I would fall in love with. So now I'm like, I thought this was going to be like the only real thing, and it's like, oh, this will be one of the things I'm stitching, but it's not going to get done this year. But that's okay. It will be a long-term fun
You're a seasonal stitcher.
Yeah. I'd rather stitch it and then put it away and get it back out next year than stress myself out to have it done to then not put it up for a year. Like, because I'm not going to have a black hat Halloween bell pull year round. Yeah. All right, I will put this away later because I'm going to get it. All right. So I'm sorry guys, the haul section of this is really long because we didn't plan on going to the Silver Needle until the last minute. So we had
literally that morning we were like, hey, let's go, it's raining.
We had already bought other things, and also my spending is going to slow down tremendously, but I still have a few things that are outstanding that will come in, and then it will be. So this is
justify it to me.
This is my Goodwill haul. So it was $4, but then it was 50% off because it was a green week. And I think it's machine made. I don't think it's handmade. And I'm not going to keep the birds because it's like got stains in it. But it's got a cool finishing hoop. And I think for $2, I can definitely rip out the fabric and shine this up a little bit. And whether I don't think I'll finish a project in it, but I think it would be cool like just by itself.
It's so cool.
Or I know some people put quilting squares in them.
So weird.
And it will, it already has a hanger, so it can just be on the wall. Maybe I'll put it with nothing in it on the wall. That would be funny.
Or like an actual picture.
Yeah.
Like make it a picture frame.
So, but I wasn't going to pass it up. I really like that. And then this was, I thought this was a little overpriced because it was $10 at Goodwill, but I love it. It's it's just machine embroidery, but it's Jerusalem, and I have a lot of pictures from my trips to Israel and Jordan that I want to stitch up as patterns. So I figured those would be really cool to house in here as a project bag. And right now I'll just use it as is, but then eventually if I get good enough at sewing, or if I find someone I trust, like who's a bag maker who does the like custom choose your own fabrics, then I could have them cut this out and put it into like a more traditional bag. And if I do that,
like that,
I'll take these beads and make it the pole. But yeah, it's a little bit funny of a shape. But it's like, it'll be a good project bag as is. But I could also upcycle it a little bit more. But I love it. I think it's really cool. And $10 at Goodwill versus like $30 on Etsy is pretty good.
Pretty good.
All right, so I have one more thing. And then we'll be down. Like, this is a lot of things. Okay.
That's okay.
So I signed up for the Fanciful Flamingos first like test box for her subscription boxes. So the first one that she did like, I think I got literally the last box because I wasn't going to sign up for it. And then she had something on Instagram that like all the people from the newsletter, because she had like a newsletter list of people that could sign up for it. And I wasn't on that. And then she posted on Instagram and I was like, well, I'm never going to get one. And then I was like, oh, I can fill one out. And then after I did, I think I was ordered 111 and she said she made 110 boxes. So I think I was literally like the last box. Because you wouldn't have, like sometimes you have like a fake order or something in there. Or when I do invoices for my business, I'll just make up random numbers. But I think I got the last box. But the pre-order for the subscription boxes is open now and that is unlimited. But you have to sign up by the 22nd, I think. So I really like her channel. I like her style. I think she's really sarcastic and funny. And I was just, and the story she said about how like she's in her 50s and this is her like chance to like start something new and she wants to prove to her daughter and they're running this as like a family project. And so I was like, you know, I have an 8-month-old daughter. I was like in tears, like, what if she would do a business with so I was like,
oh my god.
So I
8 months old.
I know. And she will be doing a business with me at some point.
Well, I work with Mom.
That's true.
Me and my mother are coworkers now.
So I went ahead and got the box, and then I did like it enough that I signed up for the subscription, which is like it's every 2 months. So I'll show you what's in the box. Those do not come with it. Oh, this is the other project bag I got from Kathy's Posies that I really like, but I put it in here because the pattern that's in here is going to go in this bag when this video is done. That's cute. Isn't it cute?
It is.
So in the box is, and I've seen 2 other people show the box, and I know a lot of people, most people should have already gotten this because I've had this for over a week, but almost 2 weeks because it went out like right at the beginning of September. But if you haven't for some reason, you don't want to know what's in it, stop the video. So what's in it is, oh, that's not the list of what's in it. All right, well, I'll just say because I don't know where the list is. But little counting pens that she made, and like a pumpkin thread keep that's really cute. And then there's a pattern in here that I'll show you, but it comes with finishing fabric that you can use on that pattern to make a pillow, or you could do something else with the fabric. And the fabric was curated by Como Stitches. I know a lot of people like her Etsy bag. And then it has like a little tension hoop, which I've never tried a tension hoop before. I'm excited to try it.
I want to try one.
So the concept of her boxes is like her favorite things. And so each box will have a pattern, but then it'll also have like some random item that she really likes that she thinks a lot of people don't use. Or so and then she had a pattern made. Every box is going to have a pattern made, and you know what the themes are for the boxes in advance. So like the next theme is Christmas, so if you're not a Christmas person, you already know, like, don't sign up for that box. But this is the pattern that KEB Studio Creations created for this, and the other reason I signed up for the box that I'm really excited about is because I've been designing my own patterns, and there's going to be a Zoom call for each box with the pattern designer where you're stitching and you can talk to, I mean,
Cool.
you won't be like, it's you and a million people, but you can hear from the designers talk about that design, and I thought that would be really good for me. The pattern is done in Weeks Dye Works, but the included flosses were the DMC conversion. Again, tell me what the Weeks T is. I don't know. There's a sticker and a project bag tag. And I think that's everything. Oh yeah, and some Jolly Ranchers, which I'm excited
That's
about.
so nice.
So I really liked it. It's one of those subscription boxes where, like, you know, is it going to be necessary for my life? No, but I think I will always just love it. And so I'll stay in it until, like, you know, maybe I'm overwhelmed with patterns and I don't want any more patterns showing up or something. But I really, it was quite enjoyable to open and see what the new things were. I really like the pattern that she chose. And she's going to have different designers. Some that are like up and coming and some that are more prominent. So this designer, actually I had never heard of her, but then she has a Flosstube, and I went and found her Etsy store and bought another pattern from her that I really liked that I showed you, that's snowflakes in blue, that I'll put a picture up, that I'm gonna stitch for in January when Christmas is over. And the box was so cute. My mailman did, or the mail system in Oklahoma did ding the box. I've seen some people's boxes showed up pristine. Mine did not. My dad, because I have my mails in my parents' house, because at my apartment complex it doesn't always come through. And my dad called me and goes, "There's not this box, but there's a package here for you that says do not bend." They bent it. So okay, so that is all of my haul. And like I said, there'll be a little more trickling in, but then it will stop for a while, or get down to just like very small kitting items and things. Yeah. But I could probably kit almost anything I need to from Stash. Though I did sign up for a Fabric of the Month club, so that'll be coming in.
Fabric was the coolest part about the Silver
Seeing
Needle.
all the fabrics.
Yeah, because pictures, I used to work for a paint store. Pictures do not show color in true life. You cannot mix a paint from a picture because it will be completely different. And it's the same with your TV. Like, I see all these cool things on Flosstube, but you really don't know, and then they're there in person, and
yeah,
I mean, they're so beautiful.
It was really,
and we don't have a local, you know, our
place where we can just go
and look. So it was really, that's why we spent so long in there looking at all the patterns, all the fabrics. It was fun.
It was really fun, yeah. All right, so I think we're almost done. We do have a couple of Flosstubes that we want to talk about in our Flosstube University section, because I am learning cross stitch at Flosstube University. And okay, so all right. Do you want to go first?
Sure. I'm absorbing everybody, so I'm trying everybody out like one or two videos. So I haven't gone back yet, but one that I am going to go back and watch all of is KBH Stitches, because we have like very similar taste in what, like, almost everything she puts up. I'm like, I love that. I would put that on my wall. So the amount that she stitches and then just puts away does give me anxiety, but it's worth it, because everything she shows is just like, where did you get that? I write it down. So
whereas I write down all of her project bag makers,
right, okay,
and follow them on Etsy. So she's very enabling.
So she's great. Check her out.
She has 6 videos. I think I've watched every video, and
I think
they're really
too, but
really
I'm gonna
good.
keep watching because she's awesome.
Is there anybody else you want to mention?
I watched so many.
I know. I had to sit down and think, like, and look at my history and be like, wait, I need
Yeah.
to start writing them down, like, because so many people have so many good nuggets, and then I forget. But like, the information's absorbed in my brain, but I forget where it came from.
Yeah, I mean, especially since like a couple. I know specifically, Kansas City girl in Colorado
World.
Colorado World, showed her pattern of this beautiful what was
Thursday
it called?
Goes Goth.
Thursday Goes Goth. Yeah, she showed it, and it was her pattern, but I had seen it on a different person's Flosstube who had told me to go watch that, and so it's like the trail is, it's a long trail, but I am gonna buy Thursday Goes Goth because that is wonderful. I don't want to buy it until I'm sure I have time to stitch it because that will stress me out.
Are you gonna put it on Murky? It was fun seeing Murky in person.
We saw Murky in person
because on the TV it looks insane. Like
yeah.
on my TV, everybody who says Murky looks so beautiful looks insane to me, and so people sound insane. And then seeing it in person is like, oh no, I get it.
You can see how that would be.
But I know that things don't show well, so I know like there's something I'm missing. But I am I'm like, that's strange.
I probably will not, just because I want to see how it goes on this other piece of fabric that I bought, and it was really expensive, and for my budget it was really expensive. So I will probably source something more
box store linen.
Yeah, like from just a big box store. So
if I'm in the club I joined is Bestitch Me. If I'll see if anything comes in that would look good for you too. So I had a couple I wanted to mention. Well, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people I want to mention. But again, we're watching 1 billion Flosstube, so this is by no means the complete list of people that we have learned from recently. Crossed by Floss mentioned something that scared me to death, and I'm so glad she did this. So she does a lot of secondhand shopping. I love going to Goodwill and looking at their cross stitch sections, or their craft section. But she said they never have cross stitch stuff, and I was like, yeah, we never really and she said like sometimes you'll see a hoop, but then there's nothing with it, and nobody who's destashing only would destash a hoop. She went and asked the people who run this. I don't know where this place was. I don't think it was a Goodwill, but it might have been. She said they throw away their cross stitch stuff because nobody buys it.
Oh, that's sad.
So that is horrifying, but also
that's good to know. Like, don't donate your cross stitch stuff to resale shop.
Or I want to go ask the places that I shop at.
You know who does use a lot of the cross stuff? Like, I used to do some volunteer work at senior centers, and like this one we went to, the seniors were selling their artwork, their needle artwork, to raise money to give to like children. Like it's so wholesome and so wonderful.
Well, that's like we used to
like
go
I know that they do that, so I would give it to them to work on their crafts. So
well, I want to go, and I'm going to ask specifically when I go to each store next time. I'm going to ask them like where their cross stitch stuff is, just to start the conversation. And if they tell me like, oh, we don't have it, then if it's a small local place, maybe you could influence them to not throw it away.
Right.
And if they are throwing it away, it's good to know don't waste your time coming back there unless you're looking for frames or, bags or whatever.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy cross by. So basically, if we're mentioning a Flosstube, we really liked them. But I realized last time there were some people we tagged as mentioned that maybe we didn't like wax profusely about. But we would not mention a channel we did not think you should go watch, even in passing. Stitching Bunny, I love her. I want to say she said she's in her late 70s. She just reminds me so much of Grace, our grandmother. And I watched a few of her videos. I loved every second of it, but specifically I loved seeing, she just finished Byron Blackbird from The Artsy Housewife. And if you can tell from this video, I'm obsessed with The Artsy Housewife. So it was so fun seeing a finished piece because a lot of the stuff that I've bought are newer pieces that just came out at the online needle market. I'm getting the name wrong, but Byron Blackbird was something that had come out earlier this year, and so she finished it, and it's really pretty. Her most recent video, she has that finish. Rocking Chair Stitcher is also she is very new. I think she has 1 or 2 Flosstubes up. She's in Canada, but she is similar to me. I'm doing a lot of converting photographs to patterns. She went on a trip and did a drawing of something she saw on the trip and then turned that into a pattern.
That's so awesome.
And it was really beautiful. Yeah. It was really beautiful. And also she does sit in a beautiful rocking chair. And she I want to say she's younger than us, but probably in her 30s. If you're not in your 30s, you're not being offended. I just can't really tell ages. But, and very new to cross stitch. And also she's someone else who's very new to cross stitch and is starting Flosstube at the same time. I have no business having a Flosstube at this stage of but it's very fun.
I mean, you're excited. That's okay.
And then Artist Design, She's been around for a long time, but I hadn't seen any of her videos before. But she just did a whole Maryland State Fair breakdown with walkthroughs of the fair. So if you like State Fair content, which I'm loving,
yeah.
It was a really good one. And then I watched a few of her other videos that were all really good too. And she had a video of like how to do a bunch of stuff on a budget that was like 5 years old, like organizing your cross stitch on a budget. That was really interesting. Then, all right, so this is the last one I'm going to mention. Second Wind Stitcher. She is also new to Flosstube, but she's not new to cross stitch. She has one video up right now, and it was a whip parade, and it was one of those beautiful, intimidating whip parades where you're like, oh, you're stitching 50 heids, and they're all gorgeous, and you will actually finish some of these. And like her like energy and enthusiasm was really great. I loved seeing everything she was stitching on. And then also she talked a lot about like mental health and balancing like life and stitching and how important mental health is. And it was all like really good. So I learned something great from all of these floss tubes.
I have one more that I did learn.
Oh, okay.
Okay. You're the one that told me about the waist fabric.
Waist canvas.
Waist canvas, yeah. But then, is it Stitchin' Mommy?
Yeah.
Stitchin' Mommy. I watched her tutorial and she made it look so easy. And then I did it and I was like, oh, it really isn't hard. And so that was very, very encouraging, and I never would have tried it.
I love Stitchin' Mommy's channel. I just bought her Temperature Quaker, which I didn't include in haul.
Oh,
to do
that was beautiful.
For next year because I'm turning 40 next year. I know I don't look it. And I decided next year I'm going to do it. I'm probably going to do a temperature thing every year, but I think I want to do one for 2024, and I want to also do it for 1984 at the same time and see what climate change has done what the wreckage of climate change throughout my 40 years.
40 years, yeah. That would be very interesting.
I think it'll be really pretty, and also like no one will know at the end of it that
also, what a fun project stitch. I didn't mention that the one I bought at the Silver Needle, a year creeps by. You do one block a month for a year, which is just so fun.
It's perfect for you,
game, and I love
then
that.
you can have a whip
that's continuous.
That you feel no pressure to do any more on until the next month.
Yeah, so I'm excited.
All right, well, I thought this video would be less. It was not. But if you're still here, thank you so much.
Thank you.
If you're not still here, we understand.
Totally get it.
You know, we would love it if you subscribe to the channel, say hi in the comments. You know, tell us what you're stitching on.
Or just spell the tea.
Yeah, please spell the tea. And you can also just like DM me on Instagram if you don't want to say something publicly. I'm running the Cross Stitch the Globe Instagram account because I created it before I was like, hey, you should do this channel with me. And then she is Allison at the moment on Instagram, and both of those are listed in the description. So spill the tea in the comments or DM us. There's other tea situations that pop up, like floss tubers that will drop tea, but they won't tell the whole thing. Yeah. And there's no way to find out. So, all right. Well, thank you guys so much.
Thank you for watching.
Bye. Oh, I'm going to put the Silver Needle walkthrough videos now. So stay on for a couple more minutes if you want to see that. And bye.
Bye. Thanks.